Welcome back to the 12th annual I Am Winter Solstice Fire Tenders Gathering. And what makes this event so extra special is that people at home are participating. Usually there's webinars, and there's lots of free webinars where people sit there and listen and pay to listen later, and there's no interaction. But in this particular community, I call it a community event because I've already collected about 80 altars that people have shared over on the Wind Clan, and that's pretty special. We put them into a video where you can actually see how people's altars changed. In fact, I just took a second picture of my altar because it's calmed down as I've calmed down and gotten into the rhythm of this day. And today I have a very extra special guest, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself as she goes, but Deborah Koff Chapin, she discovered touch drawing years ago. She's an inspiration, and she holds impeccable community as well. And it's always an honor we kind of co-create this session together. She does all the work, and I kind of vibe in a little bit. But today, we're going to have you vibe in a little bit more than ordinarily. And you can read all about her and get her gifts of drawings on our IM page. So make sure you sign up if you haven't. Hit subscribe, hit the black button, because people said they can't tell when we're going live. But the thing is if you hit the black button on your subscribe button, it'll let you know that they'll give you a notification that we've gone live. All right, Deborah, take it away here. You're on mute.
Here I am. Let me just make sure I'm on the right mic. Yes. Okay. Well, it's wonderful. I love that we do this every year. I've lost track of how many we've done, so it's really a part of my solstice. I have a full cycle of solstice events happening right now because it is an important time of year for me as well. I'd like to begin by just bringing us all together, because I know that some of you will be hearing this in recording, but there are a number of you here live, and that is one of the things that does make this special. So I'd like all of us to come together in a moment while I just do a brief opening music with my my chimes here. So maybe I can take a moment to just sit in your own presence, your own sacred center. Become aware of how you radiate as a wholeness. Our body is a form our soul is taking. So it's not body and soul. We're together in our whole self. And let's invite the spirit of the room that each one of us is in right now. Spread your energy out and welcome this as a sacred space. And let's extend our awareness out to the nature, whether we live in the city or the forest. There is nature outside of our door and walls. So whatever you feel connected with in the nature around you, we're just expanding to include that in our circle today. So I open everything I do with these chimes. I know that Renee works with the wind whistles, and many of you work with wind whistles. They're the equivalent for me. They draw in the spirit for me. They invite the spirit of touch drawing. I do think that there is a power of sound to sort of reach through into the subtle realms. So it's an integral part of anything that I do, these simple chimes. And later on, I will close with my some crystal bowls. So we're moving into touch drawing. And I am going to now put my drawing board on here because this is going to be an emergent session. So I will first show you a little bit about the process I'll be engaging in with touch drawing. See, get everything ready here. I've already rolled out paint. So make sure you can see. I've taken this paint, I've put little dabs on the board. It's a smooth surface. And then I have been rolling the board smooth with a roller. So that's what I have on the board. I have been doing touch drawing since 1974 when it came to me in a very, it was a moment of openness, of germination in my life. The last few weeks of art school in 1974 in New York City. And there were intimations, you can find longer stories on my website. There were intimations that I was searching for a more natural way to draw. And on my last day, my last year of school, I was helping someone clean up in the print shop. And I put a paper towel down. And before I do an attuned drawing for you all today, I will show you something like what I did the first time I did touch drawing. It was, I put the paper towel down on the ink and I was just ready to wipe with the paper towel. And in that moment, I decided to play. Like I said, I was in a state of openness and there was a subliminal search for a more natural way to draw, but that wasn't a thought form. It was only, I'll just play. So I moved my fingertips on the back of the paper towel. I couldn't see through it like with this tissue. I use this tissue so you can really see the process. And I picked up the paper towel and I saw that I had drawn these organic, natural marks, and they felt like human nature was being given direct expression. And in those moments, it was like I was connecting with a more timeless field of humanity, of human consciousness. And I felt connected to the hand prints on the cave walls, this ancient direct imprint of our hands. And it felt like this process of touch drawing was sort of resonant with those original handprints in that it was a way to bring the human presence directly onto the paper without the use of tools. And there was a thought that this was for the future. This is a process for the future. And because the drawings happened so fast, it was like humanity's consciousness will be speeding up and we can keep up with our states of being through the movement of our hands directly. And this could express a very fluid consciousness. All of this sort of understanding of the process came to me in those moments where I was actually hysterically crawling around and picking up more paper towels and drawing and doing more drawings. But I've thought more and more recently about another thought that came to me at the time, which was touch drawing, which I didn't even have a word for it at the time. I think I called it finger drawing. I didn't have any name. There was no name. It was just doing. But that this way of drawing was coming into the future to counteract technology. Now, at that point, I had heard of computers, like mainstream computers in banks, because I had a friend who was working with those. No one thought about us using, computers, let alone image generation through computers. As image generation, especially through AI, is happening, I am now understanding, years later, almost 50 years later, the significance of that thought is getting stronger to me. That is the power of a seed gift like this, that it unfolds over time. And so I knew that this process wasn't just for me. It was for humans in the future to do. And I have gone on to share the process in lots of ways. And now I do workshops online if you're interested. Very, very accessible. So that's the story. And now I will take a moment and I'm going to roll the board smooth in between drawings. That's part of the practice, to just erase the past. There we go. And putting the paper down. And then I usually just take a breath and take a moment of being and a moment of attention to how I feel inside. It always comes from a sense of inner impulse. It's not a way of drawing what I see visually. It's a way of drawing what we sense internally. That's always the impulse. And right now, I am going to open to all of you who are here, and I invite you all to open to this field in the presence of the spirit of touch drawing. And let's together offer an intention, a group intention. Just let your breath out. We invite the spirit of touch drawing to join with us and allow images to emerge that are of the most significance and that can hold unique meanings for all of those who are witnessing live and all of those who see this recording later. And then I just wait for impulse and move. Everywhere my fingernails are touching forms a line. Everywhere my fingertips touch forms this softer marks. And I'm feeling my own inner face, but it's more like my inner face has become a template upon which a subtle being presence can meet, a place of meeting. So when I'm drawing a face, it's particularly focused in that way. Like there is a presence, I don't see it. I see it as I draw it, but I feel the impulse to move it as I'm creating it. So And then I wait. You saw my fingers doing a little thing. I think they were like listening and feeling like there's something there in this little hair-like things, and it felt like stars. There we go. So I'm going to lift this first one up. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, or just a brief time, without any talking, just to allow you to take in this presence. Let your eyes just gaze. You don't have to think about meaning. You don't need to get a message. Just being with it and noticing how you feel. If you like to write and words start coming, you're welcome to do that. We won't stay for a long time, but I will photograph these and post them on the Facebook so you can spend more time with them later. Renee, would you like to come back for a moment and we'll talk for a moment and then I'll do another?
Sure. As you were drawing, I felt it in my solar plexus. And I got this message about how we need to embody this power that we feel in our bodies and merge it with our good thinking, merge it with our minds, that it's not the time to be in power without good thought. And as we've been working as spiritualists, we should have better discipline. So it's a disciplined power that involves critical thinking, wisdom, knowledge, and entrusting what we're feeling in our bodies.
Mm-hmm. And as this is art, I think of this as art. Renee found her appropriate wisdom, and you might get an entirely different experience. That's the power of art and the beauty that there is room for you to have your experience. But when we hear each other's, we can enrich. Then we get even more dimensions. So when I post these on the Facebook, if people would like to do your own writing in the comments, that would be amazing. And we could get different feedback on different images.
Yeah, I would love to see what you thought about that. And lovely.
Yeah, so we will continue a process. As Renee says, that's what's unique about this. It's not just some recorded auto symposium. So here we are. I'm rolling the board smooth. When I do that, I'm erasing the past. I'm erasing the marks of the previous drawing. So now I will do another. I love the sound of the paper as it sort of floats down on the page. And every time I put the paper down, I feel like, oh God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's a blank page. I've got nothing. I think that is just part of the process. It's part of that emptying. It's a real practice for life, of not coming into a situation with all our preconceived ideas and being open to what happens, to what's called for right now. So I'm just going to sit here with that and see what impulse comes to me. And I'm feeling to do maybe a partial circle. That's about all I know. Except it felt like it was being. So now you'll see how I don't have to always draw with two hands. There's lots of ways to do this. So I just had a little feeling of a circle with someone, you know, maybe a moon-like presence, and that there was someone coming into it, sort of overlaying it. That's kind of what I felt, and I don't know where it's going. I do not know where it's going. So I just sit and wait till I, as best I can feel an authentic next part of the drawing. And see how when I'm working with one hand, I've touched the paint a little bit. It doesn't really come through the paper that much, but I'm messy. I'm touching it in all these different ways. It's still very different from holding a tool, like a pencil. You could use just one finger and treat it like a pencil. There is something when you allow the gesture of your hand to create the image and just allow and the sensory experience of that. So because I don't know what I'm going to do, I'm following that sense of sensory experience. And I don't know where it's going, but it feels good, so I'm just going to stay with it. So here we are. Again, can you imagine yourself being in this setting, inside of this image? How would you feel? What do you feel when you imagine that? Maybe a title comes, a simple word or a phrase. If it had that, what would it be? And Renee, if you'd like to come back.
That one feels to me like waiting for the sun to arrive, you know, like moving towards that light, and knowing that that light is there and that I have access to it. And I love her. Does she have a necklace?
Well, I don't know. How does that feel? If you feel that on you.
I'm feeling that nice, beautiful necklace. Maybe because I'm going to a wedding in a week and I need a necklace. But that's beautiful. There's just a stunning quality of that there's hope that the light is arriving and that there's light for me inside there.
Yeah. So, would you like to put out at some question, Renee, for the next drawing?
How about, you know, sometimes when we used to do, I play the wind whistle, and why don't we do a wind whistling?
Yep.
Okay, instead of a question, how about if I give you a wind whistling?
All right, let's see what the wind wants to bring. Actually, this feels like the wind, that drawing, to me.
Well, what we got? So the question would be, how do we draw the winds of change? How do we draw them into our lives in a meaningful way? Wow, I didn't even see her coming out of the drawing. I saw the circles, and I
Mm,
was thinking about that we can only go with the change as fast as we can and integrating it in the cycles as it appears instead of eating that whole elephant, to eat just the little bit of layers that we get, that it's going to layer upon layer upon layer,
mm.
and become more integrated into my own body and my own self.
Yeah, as you were playing it, I felt these kind of spirals in these three different areas of my body as you
Mm,
were playing the wind whistle. And then I first did them, and then they wanted to expand so that they overlapped,
mm.
so that they were sort of, resonating into each other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because Louise Eddington was just talking about how we're moving into the cycle of air, like not just like for a week or a month, but that's where we're moving in. And it's just like, feels like this wind, this experience of wind is really starting to, become timely. And so this drawing for me is really potent.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, do we want to do one more, or should I go to some music for just a few minutes?
I would like to assimilate. This was a lot. I mean, one thing about it is like speeding up time too. There was just so much in each of them. I would like to sit with some music and absorb it.
Wonderful. We'll do that, and then I'll do my best to get them photographed and up online. So I'm going to move over to now. See where I'm going.
Blessings and thank you.